guess so.
What's good? MDS Podcast, Money Don't Sleep LLC. This is Jae Cash, my guest.
Tanisha.
This is my youngest son, Mom. My soon-to-be ex-wife. How did you grow up?
I'm confused here.
How did you grow up? Like how would you describe your childhood?
I had a good childhood. I ain't have both of my parents, but I had a good childhood.
What area you grew up in?
7 Mile and Van Dyke.
S&B. So how would you describe that neighborhood as a child compared to now?
It's horrible now. It was horrible then, but it's horrible now. Like,
What did y'all do for fun?
everything that we all did. Played basketball outside, ran up and down the street, did everything.
What kind of child you was? You was a girly girl, tomboy?
I was a tomboy. Ponytail all day. Tomboy.
What changed?
Got to smell myself, thought I was grown. Started wanting to get my nails done and be a girl and stuff.
So what type of styles you like your nails did? Shellac or I don't know the other shit. I'm just trying to sound smart.
It really just depends on how I feel.
What type of men you like?
Oh wow, okay. Honestly, I don't have a preference.
She ain't got no type. Bad niggas and bitches is what she like.
That's not funny. No, I don't have a type though. Like, it's just based off the vibe, like how we get along and how we connect and stuff. I don't really have personally a full type.
What turn you off?
A couple things. I do not like guys that is flashy, like want to be all day posting money on the internet and
A lot of women
doing
say
all that. I do not. Yeah, that's horrible. It's very unattractive. Like, it's nothing cute about that at all. It's one thing to know you got it or you doing what you got to do and stuff, and then to be flashing and doing all that, I don't like that.
What's your goals and aspirations?
You just gotta want to get deep, huh?
Yeah, come on, sis.
I was not prepared for this today.
Yeah, I be telling people like everybody like every nigga fucking their baby mama. They love their baby mama. I'm like, my baby mamas is like irritating ass sisters.
I ain't irritated.
Yeah.
But no, we are not messing around. We're not. I hear that a lot too, though.
Yeah, everybody think I'm fucking you.
Yeah, everybody think me and you still messing around too.
And that shit crazy.
And we not. That's the crazy
Like,
part.
what the
about
fuck
it.
is y'all proof? Like when I be like dating women and I tell them my situation, they always think I'm lying. And I be like, then they eventually see. Then it still be like an insecurity because I'm still married and we going through the divorce process and shit like that. And then just in general having kids with a mother that's alive. Because on social media they got jokes talking about like if your baby mama alive and I don't want to fuck with you.
All your baby
Like-
mama's still alive.
Yeah. I only count 2 though.
Okay.
I got 3 but I only count 2. Everybody be like, how you got 3 but don't count? You know what I mean? I be like, they be like, oh, I get it.
That's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a different
You
story.
want any more kids?
I do.
No, how many?
1 or 2. He about
So
to
if
be
you
5.
have-
He about to be he the only one. He got brother and sister with you, but he the only one with me. So I want him to be a big brother.
That's what's up. You want any animals?
No.
You want a puppy?
You got 2 of them. He got 2. There you go.
I'm getting another one.
Oh, well, you get another one. He had 3.
What type of shit you like to do now?
Chill.
How your relationship going?
Good.
That's what's up. I get mixed reviews because sometimes you'll post some shit and I'll read into it knowing you and I'll be like, why would she post some shit like that?
I don't post.
There was something you put on your
nothing.
Facebook story and I'm like, what the fuck?
I'll post stuff on my story like a meme or something, but that don't mean. See, I think people take social media a little too serious. If I post something on my meme, whatever.
Yeah, I remember people used to call them memes.
I post something on there, it don't be what's going on for me all the time. Sometimes it could have been a past situation or something like that I'm just agreeing with. It don't mean that's my current state and what's going on right now. It'll just be something that I might post.
As for me dating, what would be an ideal situation for you, knowing that I have our son?
Honestly, I want to say ideal. Like me and you, as far, we don't have a relationship no more as far as than our son. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as he's put in a situation, like I know you're gonna take care of him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So as long as he's put in a situation where he's okay and comfortable with whoever you're with, I'm cool with it. As long as there's no extra stuff. As long as you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You with somebody, and if my son gonna be around and he's cool with her or whatever the case may be, I'm cool with it. I don't feel no type of way about that at all.
So, well, me, I think men that can't look me in my eye, that make me nervous.
They can't look in the eye?
Yeah. Anytime any man that one of my kids' mothers are dating, if I come around and just the presence, like me, I'm always aware of my surroundings, so I always be looking up my shoulder when I'm driving and different shit like that. And when I go over people's house, you know what I'm saying, I greet them. So like when a man is looking down and another man is around, that make me nervous. Like it feel like if he looking down too long or finding something to try to tune himself into too hard, if I'm behind his head doing some shit in the backseat getting a kid out or in the car some type of way, I feel like the nigga is avoiding eye contact, and that make me nervous.
To make you nervous?
Yeah, because I had a situation last year, a nigga that came to Jada's birthday party, spoke to the nigga ain't speak, but the nigga tried to like make it seem like he wasn't looking at me, you feel me? And then I had to leave a party early to go to work. I had to work at 4:30, so I left out about like 3:50. Head to work. I say by like 7 or 8 o'clock, I get a phone call from the skating rink, and they like, we need you to come in and review the camera. Whoop-de-whoop. We know what you was wearing. We know who you are, but we need you to identify a person. They stole a teenager's cell phone. And it was the same nigga that couldn't look me in the eye. This nigga was sitting right there by, it was like some pizza boxes. A teenager that worked at Great Skate said they had their phone sitting down. Not thinking nothing of it. This nigga was the only nigga by the phone. The phone was there, and then it wasn't there. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? And then the person who was dating that person, they couldn't even get in contact with the nigga.
Yeah, see, that's crazy. I think
don't want to know another one thing too. I don't want whoever dating any one of my kids' mothers to be afraid of me. Because if a nigga acts scared of me, I'm gonna be like, why you scared? Like, that shit gonna make me nervous too.
Okay, I can understand that. One thing for me, I think, I'm not saying for that person in general, just period, for anybody in general. I think people take it, how can I put it? People take certain things the wrong way or the opposite way of certain stuff. Like, okay, I feel like a proper introduction should be made at some point.
Correct.
Not necessarily, like, I don't mean just pulling up y'all out the window, out the door, just and keep it moving. I, at some point, feel like a proper introduction should be made. You get what I'm saying? I ain't saying like, okay, well, see, you come over at this time and I'm going to have him over at this time. No, you come over, she going to be, I mean, just in general.
That's how I go, though. As a man, you got to know how to be a man. You know, it's just certain situations I don't really know how to handle because I ain't never been in them. Right. And I haven't been taught, you know what I'm saying, how to handle certain situations. Right. Because you know how my father is. Right. You see what I'm saying? And then certain shit, like in the streets, I know how to handle that shit because I was taught that shit by street dudes.
Right.
And, you know, so I know how to handle those type of situations. But in a situation where it's like two men meeting, you got to make your presence felt. You know what I'm saying? So as a man, you know, if I see a dude not speaking or acknowledge, I'm gonna make him feel my presence. I'm gonna make him talk to me. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna introduce myself. Hey, what up, dog? My name's such and such. Oh, I'm such and such. Whoop-de-whoop. And then we gonna go from there. So next time when I see you, I expect the same thing in return. I don't expect your head to be turned whoop-de-whoop and all this, because I made you familiar with who I am. So when you see me, you familiar with who I am. And I'm familiar with who you are because I introduce myself to you, and that's how that works. But if you act like you nervous when I come around, that's gonna make me feel some type of way, because as a man, I already introduced myself to you. So now when you see me out and about, I'm a familiar face. Like we black people, when you make eye contact with somebody, they nod their head.
Right.
Hey,
right.
Some shit like that. You don't know that. You might not know this person's name. So when somebody you already know their name, you know you can put their face to a place. You know they not an enemy, so you can't be just like, oh fuck him, that's such and such baby daddy. No, we ain't beefing, so it shouldn't be that type of energy. Some people make that type of energy, and they have that because of social media, these movies and different things. No, I'm not fucking her. I'm not going behind your back. I'm not shaking your hand and fucking your woman.
Right.
So it shouldn't be no negative energy exchange. Now, if I was fucking her and you suspected that, I can understand that type of energy. But if me and you as a man got an understanding, you got to honor that. Like, because you around my kid or kids, I hold you accountable for them in your presence. So if something happened to my kid and they around you, I don't care if the mother is around, I'm holding you accountable as a man, because your responsibility for whatever woman that come around you, whatever kids is around you, to protect them. Because there's niggas out here like you seen in New Jack City use a baby for a shield. It's a rapper named U-God that's in Wu-Tang. His son was like 2 years old, got shot because his baby mama was out to eat and somebody was in the diner getting shot at and used his son as a shield. And his son was fucked up for a real long time. His son's still fucked up, but his son is doing way better now. His son is older than me or my age. Some shit like that. And then you got shit that you seen on the news here. Somebody used a baby as a shield. One of my best friends, Anna, somebody shot up a house when she just learned how to walk at like 11 months. And she got hit with a stray. The little kid in the house they raided got killed. Ariana at like 9. So as a man, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? So
I completely understand that part. I get it. I still just,
I don't like timid men.
And you shouldn't, because as a man, no man should be timid anyway. That shouldn't even be a factor. But I agree with what you're saying. But again, me personally, I still think at some point a proper introduction should be made. And I say that because maybe that's based off a woman's point of view. Because on my behalf as a woman, for me,
a lot of these niggas I have mutual acquaintance with, where I like actually know people personally that know them people.
And I get that. What I'm saying is, the reason I said I feel like it should be a proper introduction, because like you said, things can be taken in the wrong way. Like you said, Facebook, this, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, I'm not saying all women, I'm not petty like that, but some women are petty and some women take things as a different note. You pull up, you know, for me to drop Mario off, or however the case may be, and you got a woman in the car, and I come up to the car like, hey, how you doing? I'm Tanisha, whatever, you know. She may take that as me being, you know what I'm saying, being funny or something.
See, I don't like, if that's the thing, it's perception. I get that.
But that's what I'm saying. Me, I'm not being funny. But some people take that off as being, you know what I'm saying, because you don't know a person. So some people take that, like you said, people so used to this Facebook and all this other stuff,
but
that
you
people
know
take
me,
all
like,
that type
but
of
I'm
stuff.
saying, you know me as a person, like when I'm out and about, like even my friends, they be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like how you get a nigga to take your picture. Nigga, if I'm out and about and I want somebody to take a picture, I mean, I don't care if I know him or not. Hey, do you mind
I already know.
taking a picture? Like it's been times where I've been out with the kids and it's just me and the kids, and I see another man with his lady or his kids, and I be like, bro, I know you want to take a picture. You take these pictures, I take one for you. You know, you do
So
and it's a couple times, some guys even ask me when they see me with the kids, they're like, hey bro, you mind taking a picture of me and my kids? Or I see a guy taking pictures of his lady, his wife, and the kids. And I'm like, hey bro, hop in there, I'll take it for y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all y'all got the picture. You know what I'm saying? But some people, it's pride and ego. Like sometimes you gotta deal without your ego, because a lot of times, like even with arguments, a lot of times arguments go on because of ego. You got to take your ego out of it and find a solution. So it's like,
that's true.
When you arguing with somebody and you be like, what's the solution? Some people be like, fuck you. You see what I'm saying? You be like, what the fuck do you mean? Speaking of arguments, what the fuck did you pick that shit up from?
I just knew you was about to jump into that.
Because I don't like to argue. Because I don't want to apologize for nothing that I say.
I don't like arguing. I mean, it's not that I don't like. I ain't gonna say it like that. Me and you argued because when we had conversations. Do you see your face now?
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Because this is me. Because
that's what
disparity. You know why I'm like that. I'm traumatized.
Any conversation we have, I don't care what it's about. Any conversation that gets brought up in the topic, death, cheating, just anything. That face, that's what pissed me off. That smile and shit, I don't like it, and that pisses me off because I don't understand how a conversation can be. No, that is that.
It ain't that, motherfucker. You
that's what takes it over the top.
At the waitress because she mumbled some bitch. What you like? Chill.
No, I do not.
Yes.
No.
Applebee's on 12 now. You got mad. No. Like you're not supposed to be talking back. Yeah, I remember.
No, I did not.
Yeah. Your gay friend was there. Yeah.
That was that was a whole different thing. But we walked in and she was horrible off rip. As soon as we walked in, they were getting ready to close, and instead of her saying that her whole
person gets spit on any food, I'm telling you.
No, because I'm gonna shut the fuck up, or if I'm gonna argue with you, I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay there and let you get my food. But that was a whole different.
But my smirk. But you knew that from the gate.
No.
Because like when I stop smirking, it's time for violence. So you would rather for me to smirk? Because like if I get violent, I don't care who lives or dies.
Because the situation don't be funny, so it's nothing to
You know why I smirk? Honestly. You want to know the truth? When I was a kid, I used to get in trouble. And you know, like my calm face, people always like, when I don't have a smirk on my face, people always tell me I look sad. And I just be like looking, and I just be chilling. I'd be like, and people like, what is wrong with you? And then like when I used to get in trouble, I used to try to like really zero in and listen to my mom, and I'd be like, or some shit. I just look really calm.
You do like Mario do.
No, I look.
When he get in trouble, he don't smile. He do that dumb ass.
Because I'm serious. I'm trying to understand what's going on.
But he do that dumb ass same stare.
Change your motherfucking face, and just like whoopty whoop. And I'm like, this is my resting face. I'm not trying to look sad. Nothing. I got glossy eyes naturally. And then she'd cuss me out and all this. And then it went from that to smirking. I can't just sit there and be all like, because I'm fucking traumatized. I remember that shit when I was a kid. It's people, you know, it's some people when
continue our argument.
You know, it's some people when they do math for certain subjects, their hands start shaking because getting hit with a belt and all that. Yeah. That's my thing.
Okay, well, that's still.
It's not my fault.
It's still some dumb shit.
I'm traumatized. I used to get fucked up.
Okay, it's still some dumb shit. That'll piss somebody off because
that's not my fault.
Whenever we get into it, you really do that shit, and that shit used to piss me off. So it'll take shit from here to there quick because I couldn't stand that shit.
That shit crazy.
Hated it. That's
what's your views on entanglements?
I ain't got no views on entanglements. Listen, let them have it. Listen, whoever. Okay,
we had our entanglements.
Yeah.
You had some entanglements.
Yeah, true.
What is your views on like people that inquire on like why me and you are not together, because it pissed me off.
To an extent, it pisses me off, and then it don't. It pisses me off when people base their own assumption on why we're not together.
People always pick me.
For the reason we're not together?
Yeah, people always pick me.
See, you know what's crazy?
Every time.
I've come to a place where it's been like, somebody just asks and I just be like, we better off as friends. Like, that's where it is for me. Like, it's not nobody business, truthfully. Marriages go through stuff. We went through a lot.
Shit. Somebody asked me if I fucked your best friend, and I'm like, I did not fuck her best friend. And I'm like, why would somebody ask me that?
Our relationship, we just went through a lot of stuff, and truthfully, I just think we better off as friends.
Yeah, I feel like in our marriage, one of the biggest problems was outside people inside our marriage, and that shit affected it. So that's why I always tell people, like, nigga, that's you. And that's the conversation, you know what I'm saying, I had with you prior to. And I always tell people, I'm like, man, like, y'all fix that shit yourself. Don't have nobody all in y'all shit telling y'all what to do, how to move, or telling you shit about your spouse, because that's gonna make y'all foundation weaker. Y'all gotta build y'all foundation yourself. And I feel like that was a big problem in our marriage.
I definitely agree. I think that played a part in it.
Like, because
I'm be honest, I know I ran my mouth a lot.
My issue was like a lot of my family members and yours, and that shit like crazy. Because some people like, yeah, it'll always be your in-law. I'm like, nah, it was like actually both. Because I'm like, I got relatives I don't fuck with now. You know what I'm saying? Due to those situations and things, and then the shit just be fake, because it'd be like people just be like, oh, you forgive. Just because I forgive don't mean I'm about to fuck with you. You done did some like hoe ass shit. Like, I would not fuck with somebody if I don't want to fuck with them. Like, if they do some like hoe shit to me and people don't be believing it, I'm like, shit, I done cut my own dad off for years. Like, when me and you first started kicking it, I stopped talking to my dad for 2 years. And the friends that I was hanging around when me and you first started kicking it, I don't fuck with them. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the type of dude that's gonna drag them through the mud on the internet or anything like that. That's why I'm like, you know, our friendship, you know what I'm saying? Our marriage. So it's like, I don't drag you through the mud on social media. I might joke about certain shit, but I joke about everything. Like, you know, my friends find everything funny anyway.
You find everything funny too.
I find a lot of shit funny because of them. It ain't my fault. I got blocked today on Facebook by somebody. They inboxed me like, you a dick sucker, blocked.
I see that.
I'm like, why? Like, you, cause she posted a post saying, I want angry bipolar nigga, something, I'm toxic. And a dude comment, I don't know this dude from Canopy. He commented, oh, you want one of them Coney Island, you want that Coney Island nigga, some shit like that. And she's like, I don't know what that mean. And I went and replied to him, and I'm like, I'm fucking rolling, right? And she inboxed me and said that shit, because I was the Coney Island dude. I guess somebody disrespected his woman, and he killed like 3 people. RP to them people. I don't believe they deserve whatever. I don't know the circumstances of the situation, but that was like really like crazy. Like, if they ain't rape nobody, murder nobody, do a heinous crime, I don't think they deserve to get murdered like that in a Coney Island. I don't know what they said to his woman or what, but he flipped out. So that's what Dog was saying, because it's like, I don't understand why a lot of women be saying they want a mean dude, you like rude dudes and all these different type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, them guys be soft. A lot of them guys be getting beat up, sent to the store in the neighborhood, and all that be do boys.
I seen a post about that. Like,
yeah, he only beat you up.
And they made a comment saying like, what did you say? Like, can I talk to you or something? The things they be doing back and forth, like in Texas, like, can I talk to you or something? And she was like, no, they be sending you back and forth to the store, like you the air boy or something like that. be sending you back and forth to the store.
Like one chick I know, she was like, she went around a dude and they was chilling and she was like, they kept telling him to roll. And then a chick was saying like, she went over a dude's house and got disrespected by his cousin, and she got disrespected by his cousin, and she defended herself, and his cousin beat her up. His cousin was a male, and she was like, his grandma helped like break the situation up.
That's crazy.
And people outside helped break the situation up. And his grandma was calling him like a hoe and all that. It's a lot of dudes like that. And like the situation where I told you when we was together and I was doing Uber and the guy was trying to beat on a woman, pull a woman out the car. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, after that situation and me and you had that conversation, I don't be getting involved at all in domestic situations. Like that's some shit I'm not doing no more, because you never know. Like you can lose your life over somebody and they still gonna be with the person. Like that shit don't make no fucking sense. And then like when I talked to her, I didn't even look at her face. It was an attractive woman had got out the car. We was having a conversation. She a dancer. She had a man. She was on the phone with her man, and we all was conversing. The lady she did open the door, but I knew I had another ride, but I never had a ride where it was directly across the street, my next ride. So I guess she seen that, and I'm like, them your people. She like, nah. I'm like, she said my name, and I'm like, yeah. Like, oh yeah, I'm your next ride. I'm like, all right, cool. So the lady who was getting out the car didn't even make it around the trunk before the guy like grabbed her. I said something to a dude about a dog, and it was like all this happening at the same time while the woman getting out. Like, how old is the dog? Like 6 months. I'm like, damn, that bitch little. Next thing you know, she get in the car. Guy ended up, I think he grabbed her purse or something. He was yanking on her like, is that the nigga? That's the nigga? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, dog, I'm Uber. She explained to him I'm Uber. I showed him my phone. Then I just thought about it. I'm like, nigga, you ain't about to do all this in my car. I'm like, hey, cuz, get out my car. My man, I shoot this bitch up. So I up my shit like, dog, you want to play? He got the fuck back. I flew off the block. And then it was snow and everything. So I flew off the block, and then I started talking to her, and she like, yeah, last week he broke my face. She had to get her bone under her eye, something broke again, so it can heal right. And then I looked back at her. She had like some dark purplish eyes, and she looked like older, but she seemed like she was young. And I was just chopping to her, and she was like, her family want her to press charges. Her family love her, but she was like, he told her if she pressed charges, he was gonna shoot up her family house. And then she was saying like how she was mad he wouldn't give her none, and he started punching her in the back of the head. That shit was just like depressing. And I'm just saying, like, that's why I don't feel comfortable helping women when I be seeing women be getting beat up in the street, because it's something. Outside of the situation, if I see like a dude trying to get on a woman and she's like, I'm good, if he fire off on her, I get in that. But other than that, I don't mind my business.
I mean, I don't think I'm wrong with it. Now, I do think when you with your boys, whatever the case may be, stuff like that, and you got this one nigga out your group, whatever, that's sitting there, and he flip out or may beat on his woman in front of everybody, and all these niggas sitting around and they saying shit like, all y'all condone this? Like, all y'all go see this y'all niggas?
There's one dude I ain't even gonna lie, I condone it.
This y'all man. Like,
one dude I condone it. One time it's a situation.
How do you
I'm about to say.
How do you sit there as a man? How do you sit there with all your men, all your niggas sitting there, and your man's flip out and get the beating on his girl, and all y'all sitting there, and everybody just sitting there like, damn, like just chilling. Like,
one guy I know, he like relationships like that, and they be hitting him, and he be hitting them. It's just like weird. I be like, I don't know why you like this type of shit, and he be like whoop-de-whoop and all this. This nigga, look, I'm about to tell you, one day I took him to a chick house, and I'm sitting outside, I'm just sitting in the car chilling, listening to some music. I don't know what I was listening to, but I wanted one of her little sisters. But I'm just chilling. Cuz got on some Gucci fucking shoes and a suit. I hear a loud commotion. So I get out the car. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm strapped up. Lock the car up, go in the house. Buzz me in. Chick buzz me in. I goes upstairs. Her dad is in the house. His lady isn't even there. He choked up one of the friends. Cause she started talking back. And then the dad like, hey, can you go get your friend? I'm like, my nigga, you the dad. Like, who the fuck beat his ass? I'm trying to get over. There was his house. Like, let a dude come over and choke one of Jada's friends. I'm beating the shit out of him.
Oh, true.
You feel me? And how he came in. This nigga climbed up to the second floor. I don't know how.
Some creepy,
on
weird
the balcony
shit.
And came through the balcony.
He's a creep.
Yes. And they was
why is he your friend?
Cause he a cool dude.
That is creepy. He's a creep. He's a creep.
She liked that relationship.
He's a creep.
She was in that relationship.
He's a creep.
They had a long time relationship.
I know what you're talking about.
I know you know what I'm talking about.
He's a creep.
Yeah.
He is a creep.
Man, that shit threw me through a loop. So I'm sitting there like, y'all, I'm like, y'all look, and you know what I told them? I'm like, y'all know how he is. Why would y'all let him in? It was like, we didn't let him in. He climbed up the balcony. I'm like, how? He got on some Gucci's
and he
a
suit. Up the balcony.
I thought they was on. So I'm in the kitchen flirting with this one sister, eating some cookies. She baked some cookies. And then I got to wrestle with this nigga. My body hurt from wrestling with him previously when he was just fighting his cousin. So I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? So I end up getting him out. I'm like, it's on y'all if y'all let him back in. So the next time they locked the balcony door, he was beating on the balcony door. But I seen him climb up that shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And they had that type of relationship.
That's still crazy.
It is.
That's some crazy shit.
But the women be liking that shit. They be blowing his shit out.
That's some crazy shit.
I never seen him hit a woman outside of when he choked that friend. And that shit was weird.
That's some weird shit.
But I never sat in the house with a dude beating on a woman. But the first time I seen a dude beat on a woman, it was after I think I seen What Love Got to Do With It. And I knew it was wrong from watching that movie. It felt bad. Like, the movie was so fucking good. Like, as a kid, you think that shit real. Like, I knew Angela Bassett was in Boys in the Hood, but you couldn't tell me she wasn't Tina Turner. Like, look, she played Tina Turner, but like when you actually see the real Tina Turner, she moved like the real Tina Turner.
She did.
You know what I'm saying?
She definitely did.
I feel like Lawrence Fishburne did a phenomenal job. Couldn't nobody do a better job than Lawrence Fishburne, but he didn't mimic Ike.
Yeah.
Angela mirrored Tina to the T.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Lawrence Fishburne did a phenomenal job. I don't think nobody could have did a better job than him. But I felt like that shit was real. So one day I'm sitting on the porch with my uncle. I never seen my uncle hit a woman. He said he used to have to slam women, but to get them off him. But my uncle, I never seen my uncle hit a woman ever in my life. I never heard a story, none of that. My uncle had hoes. Probably still got the hoes. So this situation, me and my uncle sitting on the porch, and there's one of my older cousins. I used to call my cousin uncle because him and my pops used to be together so much. I thought he was my pop's brother. So I used to call him uncle. And then next thing you know, there's one pretty woman was over, and then he wanted another chick come over, and he told her to get in the cab and leave. But his sister was like, I'm gonna leave in a minute. She can ride with me. He like, no, this bitch getting in the cab. She like trying to argue. He grabbed her hair up, threw her in there, and just fucked her up. And me and my uncle sitting on the porch like, damn. And I was like 4 or 5, and that was the first time. You remember a
lot of shit from being little. Like, you could say,
I was sitting on the
you
porch.
would tell me a story right now from when you was 2 years old. Like, how the fuck do you remember some shit like that?
Because I was like really there.
You would tell me a story.
I was witnessing some crazy shit as a kid. I remember the first time I seen a chick like my age get naked for me, all that type of shit.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I was had a crazy life, and that was like, I promised to God I was going to St. Julian, so I had to be either 3 or 4. I promised to God I was sitting on the porch one morning, and she was across the street stripping for me.
And you was 3 or 4.
Yeah, and that shit's sad. Because that shit is sad.
That's pedophile shit.
She a kid. She was a kid, so she had to be exposed to some sick shit too. Cause their house was crazy. Their house was the first house I found out like roaches had wings. Like when you turn the water on hot and the roach in the tub and the shit go like that. That was the house I discovered that in on Chelsea. And I remember that shit. And then they had a cousin that was deaf. I remember her cousin that was deaf. That's the cousin I wanted.
Okay, yeah, we off that subject too.
Yeah, that shit was wild. I had a wild, fucked up childhood. Like, that's why I'm like, I be trying to, like, keep our kids away from shit and talk to them about certain shit, because I don't want them experiencing the shit I experienced as a kid.
I agree with that, for sure.
Because I'm like, man, like, as far as guns, I was around a lot of guns.
Nowadays, to raise kids in this.
Like, when you was growing up, like, who was, like, the first person you knew died a violent death that you can remember? Like, that was murdered?
My brother and best friend.
How old were you?
I wasn't even that young. That's what's crazy, but my mom kept me away from so much. You know, tried to keep me away from so much stuff. I want to say I was in like 3rd grade, probably.
I was younger than that. It seemed like every fucking week somebody I knew, through my uncle or one of my cousins, died. It was like growing up on the east side, somebody always got killed. We always, like on Chelsea and Dickerson, we always heard gunshots. Like we heard gunshots, get low, it didn't start back playing. Like, and it was just like it rained and then it got dry outside.
Yeah,
that's how that shit
was. Been around it, like, and hurt and stuff, but as far as like it actually hitting home and really being around,
there was a lot of them niggas like that, like dudes like I used to play with, joke, punch me, I punched them, give me $1 and shit like that. People whose names I actually remember. I remember when I was like 11, this dude who I used to fight my dog with, his dog, he had got killed. Kurt. I knew Kurt real well. Kurt was an extraordinary gentleman, a gangster. People loved and feared him. He was short as hell. That's what I admired about him. He had like a raspy voice. He was always fly and cool. But like, for him to be so small, niggas was like really scared of this nigga. And he used to, like, you know, I talk a lot. He used to, like, one of them was the only adult that never told me shut up. And I used to talk this nigga ear off.
You do talk.
And you know what I'm saying? He got killed, and he got killed en route that I would walk home from school. But this particular day, I probably was like flirting with a chick, and I didn't witness the scene. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like God used to bless me and still do with certain situations, because I could have been going to that store that he got killed in front of, or some shit like that. Then Pig, he got killed around the same time. Snipe ended up getting killed. That's one of my friends' dad, Brent. And Brent, he recently got killed within the last like 6-7 years. And but back then that shit was crazy. My first friend that like actually died was from cancer when I was 14. That was traumatic. That shit still bothered me. But it's like growing up, like that's just in E-course. But like before E-course, there was a lot of shit. Like 2001, it was like my cousin Ryan in November. I believe Kurt got killed either 2001, 2002. 2000, a lot of people died, but in the 90s it was like crazy. It seemed like in the 90s I went to so many funerals, from relatives, natural causes, to people getting murdered, or just hearing like certain shit about different people getting murdered. It was the neighborhood I'm originally from, it was a lot of robberies and shit. So it's like niggas used to do B&Es, and they used to rob people for their basketball rims when they was on the street playing basketball. Like, you couldn't walk no dog up the street like that. If you had like a pit and you was a kid, a nigga snatched the pit, rob you at gunpoint for the pit, and be around the corner. And that shit used to be sick. That's why I'm like,
See, it's
when
crazy.
people
I grew up on something other than that. They had a lot of stuff going on over there. But it was a lot, like, everybody knew each other.
We
so
knew each
much
other
in that
too.
Close facility between my neighborhoods, them blocks. Like, I had an older brother, so everybody knew him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It wasn't. I mean, a lot of stuff still went on, but for the most part, as far as the kids, as far as all the kids in that little neighborhood and stuff, we were good. Like, it wasn't as much bull going on with us. Like, we were good for the most part.
Like over there in Chelsea and Dickinson, I used to fight a lot because I couldn't beat Harrison up, so I used to have to take that, and then he used to fuck with me so much, I used to have to take that frustration outside. But one thing though, Harrison
still fuck you up?
Hell no, I whoop Harrison ass. But
I hope you watch this too.
He don't watch it, but look, one thing though, he never let nobody like beat my ass, no shit. Harrison like used to always beat people ass for me. And then it was like one time I made him fight his best friend because I was on some bullshit, and his best friend was, you know, so embarrassed of a certain situation, and you know, he tried to like fight me, and Harrison like tried this move and it didn't work, and then Harrison like, hey man, leave. Harrison walked me to the corner. He said he beat him up and he had to run around the corner because them promenade niggas was gonna jump him. Them promenade niggas was treacherous as kids. I remember the glass backboards first came out. It was about like 94, 93-ish. Some shit back there. And then we had the little tires, because at first we used to play with the sandbag. We had the tires. Harrison had a straight rim back then too. But them niggas came out nighttime. Promenade niggas robbed my neighbor to stay right next door. He the only person I knew with that rim. His rim had the water. Because back then we had the tires, sandbag. Nigga put the water in that bitch. That bitch was new with the glass backboard. I'm on Promenade playing basketball. I'm like, I said this shit loud because I'm not no street nigga. I'm a hood nigga, but I'm a square because I'm like really trying to be smart. And I'm like, that's such and such rim. Harrison like, shut the fuck up. And I said it again. I'm like, like, shut the fuck up. As soon as I made it back to Chelsea, I'm like, hey, these niggas got your this house, whoop-de-whoop, and all that. And they never went and got that shit. Them promenade niggas was not going like that was their rim. The house out that they had the rim was at, I don't know how much that rim probably cost like $200-300 back then. It's probably more than that. And in the 90s, and the house was like horrible. They had their house. They was like back then. That you can rent out a fucked up house. So it was like kind of like the house was kind of like a bando. It had a garage that was like really fucked up. It wasn't safe for kids.
Yeah.
We played in some fucked up environments that were like, you'd be like, as a parent now, you'd be like, don't go over there. I'm like, we even jumped off garages, all that different type of shit as a kid. I'd be petrified to see my kid jump off a fucking garage. We used to roll off garages, all different type of shit. Like, we used to be standing on top of houses like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
I don't want to see my baby do that now. I see kids out now, little boys, no more than about 10, 11.
He used to be like 3, 4 doing that shit.
I'm saying though, I'm not saying that. I'm saying younger than that, and I just be seeing them in certain neighborhoods by themselves, just 2 or 3 of them riding bikes or just walking up. You know what I'm saying?
And that shit crazy.
I can't.
Yeah.
Me growing up, we used to do it on Van, like whatever is different, but I don't want my son doing that. I don't want him doing that. I want him to have his couple friends he be with, and they on the block that we own and ride their bikes.
Like even back then,
I don't want to ride from work, come home from work or something and all this, and I see my son and his 2 friends on 7 Mile, and I don't want to.
Even like with the stores, like back in the day, we had a store on the corner. We had 2 stores, and you know, we used to walk to the stores. Like I used to be young as hell going to the store, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with my kid doing that. Yeah. Like we knew like what we could do. Like growing up over there, you know, we stayed on our block. Unless we asked to go around the corner, we can go to Promenade. Sometimes we can walk the way. Me and Harrison, you know, some shit like that. But like regular, we can ride our bike up and down the street, and then we can go from like this way, make a right, and then turn around and go that way, make a right, turn around, and then come back.
I feel like so much is changing nowadays anyway. A lot of kids at my, like, growing up for me, we was outside all the time. Like you said, playing basketball, riding bikes, doing this, doing that. A lot of kids nowadays, they might be outside and ride their bike up and down the street for a minute, then they back in the house. They want to be on their tablets and watching TV and doing all this extra shit. They ain't outside the way we used to be.
Hey, thinking about it, I was just thinking about the Dr. Dre shit that he going through with his wife, and she trying to get I think like $2 million a month type shit for the spousal support. How much I can get out of your ass?
Nothing. I ain't got shit. You can't get shit from me. How much? I want to see how much I get from you. You might need to figure that out then.
Yeah, you figure that shit out, nigga.
Need to find that shit.
I'ma do what Dr. Dre should have did.
Might need to find it out.
I know a nigga. 2,000 go a long way.
What you gonna do with the 2,000?
I hope you got a policy. You got life insurance.
Hello?
You better get life. I'm gonna get a policy on you.
No, you can't.
I can't.
No.
I don't need your permission to get a life from policy.
I know, because you still married.
Not even because of that. You ain't gotta be married to somebody. You ain't gotta be related to somebody to have a policy on. Give me 100 bands.
Boy, shut up.
Be out of town, send a big doc to Miami, go to Jamaica, post pictures for the grill. Be like this.
You ain't giving a woman no money to go to Dr. Miami shit.
They only want some titties.
You still ain't doing it.
$2,000.
You ain't doing it.
$3,000.
You ain't doing it. You know you ain't. Why you
put an old smile
and you ain't doing it.
$1,500 a brush and some boss.
You ain't doing it.
Get some iced out boss. But I'm gonna buy some bitches some titties. I'm gonna tell her if we break up, you know, other niggas suck.
How that's gonna work?
Figure it out. Payment plan. Civil court. We gonna be on TV. I'm gonna need them bitches sitting on my table and I'm just put them in my office. They gonna be on the podcast. 2 big ass silicones or the fat transfer. She can keep her fat.
Shut up.
You hear me?
I don't feel you. That's stupid. That's stupid.
But what you think about the Tory Lanez situation? Yeah, like how the fuck did he shoot her in both feet? Like that nigga got aim. Like that shit is sick.
Honestly, I can't get too much into it because we don't really know what happened. I mean, I seen her. She got on there and she did say
she said a lot, but she didn't.
Right.
And then she said at first she was like, I didn't even do nothing. Then she was like, they was arguing. I don't think an argument should lead to violence.
But she never told
what she said
about nothing. That's still whatever what she said didn't cause for him to shoot her in the fucking foot.
But I'm like, how the fuck he got aim and shoot her in 2 feet?
Yeah, like, but that's just that shit don't even cause for.
I don't like how they was body shaming him before we knew he shot her. They was talking about how short and how much he weighed.
He shot her in the foot.
No, before we knew that, they was like, this nigga only 5'2", 120 pounds. They was body shaming him, and then they complain when people body shame that.
Yeah.
They just in her
she was.
You fucking 5'2", then?
I don't like short dudes.
They like you?
I don't like short dudes.
I'm asking if they like you.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, shit.
Ain't no short nigga try to shoot that shot.
Yeah. I'm not interested in short dudes. Like, I don't like short dudes.
Okay. What about skinny niggas?
I'm cool with skinny niggas. It just depends on how skinny. When they just skinny, like ain't got no type of nothing, then no, you okay. I can't do nothing with you. You okay.
Fat niggas?
No. What's fat? No, I don't talk to fat dudes. It's a difference to have a little belly or a little. No, it's a difference to have a little belly, a little weight on you, but fat.
What about muscle man niggas?
not big. I like a little muscle, but not no big dumbass.
Terry Crews?
Yeah, no.
Why not?
No, I don't know. And you probably gotta say somebody else other than Terry Crews. Terry Crews don't really sit too well with me.
Oh man, he don't. That
he don't sit too well with me.
The shit he did with Gab.
He don't sit too well with me.
Because Gab would be riding for us.
Yeah.
I love Gab.
He don't sit too well with me. So it's like you would have to probably that shit. He just don't sit well with me. And a lot of shit though. There's a lot.
You mean you not white? That nigga tripping.
There's a lot of shit he played in that don't really sit right. Sit right.
So like The Rock, is that a better?
I don't know. I have to see The Rock for real, like in person.
Let me see. Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day.
I'm not a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm trying to see like who is some muscle bound niggas like 50 when 50 first came out.
I love 50. Yeah.
Nah.
I love 50.
A lot of people hate 50 and they be like, because like I'm cool with him. Because they be like, again, somebody try to say he don't like black women, he be dissing black men, and I'm like, it ain't that. I'm like, 50 be joking about everybody and people only focus on one part and they be like, he think everything fun. I'm like, dog, y'all take social media too fucking serious. But I'm like, people never, 50 rarely apologize, and when he apologized, he actually do it publicly. So like people like, he said this about Meg, but he publicly apologized to her. He probably talked to her behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Like when he dissed Ashanti, he happened to see Ashanti at a award show, and she was with Nelly, and Ashanti told Nelly that she was uncomfortable. He like, why you uncomfortable? She was like, cause 50 don't like me. He was talking about me and all this. And niggas don't know, my nigga Nelly is a gangster. He used to be one of my favorite rappers. Back in the day, Nelly was my nigga. I hate to see how Nelly is right now. Nelly a legend. So Nelly got up. Nelly like, hey, fifth. Fifth like, what up, nigga? You know, whoop de whoop.
How do you know this full conversation?
You know I be knowing shit. I be knowing shit.
He like, what up, Fifth?
You know I watch all. You know how I be watching a lot of interviews and all that shit. So I be knowing shit.
Okay.
50 will call you a liar. You know what I'm saying? 50 ain't really known to be a lying ass nigga. That's one thing we can say about 50. But yeah, so 50 was like, you know, whoop de whoop. He was like, you know, Ashanti feel a certain type of way because of the shit you used to say about her. You know what I'm saying? Can you apologize to her? And then Ashanti was like, 50 put on a big ass apology at the award show, and the crowd was like, Ashanti whoop-de whooping. She was like, he said it loud, and she was like smiling, and she couldn't believe it, and she was like, they straight since then. You know, he did that publicly in front of the crowd, and she was like, he was talking loud and being real dramatic and joking with her, but he genuinely apologized to her. And then, you know, he explained to her why he did what he did. And a lot of people don't understand that Ja Rule shit. Like, shit, a nigga shot you 9 times and tried to blackball you and took you, like, there was a Ashanti record that Nas was on back in the day. Irv Gotti got 50 Cent took off the record and put Nas on the record. That could have helped 50 blow up. 50 got a kid. Y'all on bullshit. You don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was whole shit. So, I fuck with Fifth. I don't agree with everything any man do, but he funny.
Yes.
I just feel like in this climate, how do you like you? I know you like to laugh, you like watching comedies and shit like that. In a sensitive ass time, how do you think comedians go about telling jokes? Because Just Hilarious made a joke about Meg Thee Stallion, and they went at her. You know, we came up on.
I love Just Hilarious. I love her.
Eddie Murphy, so FFF, and all that.
I feel like the jokes Just Hilarious has made, or the little jokes she has made that people haven't agreed with. I feel like if this was back in the day, motherfuckers would have laughed and it would have been over with.
I agree.
Now I feel like people so sensitive.
I know how much you
about
love
certain
her.
Shit. I love her. And people so
when
sensitive.
I seen her at the mall, I just was like, I should have got a picture about her. She's so short too.
I love her. And people so sensitive
nowadays about
that certain shit. Like, people be so sensitive about stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just think if certain stuff she say that people don't agree with, I feel like if she would have said it, if this would have been the older days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because
it's like the women era, and
she would have.
Like
it would have been okay. Motherfuckers
like,
would have laughed and brushed it off. There's a lot of comedians that has said a lot
Big
of things.
Sean canceled.
No, I didn't know that.
They want Big Sean canceled for that "I Don't Fuck With You" song because it was about a woman that's dead now. Like I ain't gonna call her B word, but that woman wasn't dead. Like 5. Like I mean, that was about like 7 years ago. That song old as dog shit. Like that song was, you know. And then he said he played it to her. You know, he said years ago he played the record to her. But yeah, so that shit weird. And I'm like, you can't cancel a Detroit dude unless you from Detroit. Detroit has to collectively agree to cancel somebody. Yeah. Collectively. Agree. Like, we all have to agree as Detroit to cancel anybody from Detroit. Like, you know, me, I used to love him. I don't fuck with him. And then on that song, I don't like that he shouted out my neighborhood. That nigga don't donate to the Boys and Girls Club. He ain't bought no kids over there, no bikes. He ain't doing no fundraisers. None of that shit for 8 Mile and Hoover area. They don't say that shit out. Like, I feel like Nipsey. When Nipsey was like, you shouting out the hood, some shit, but he was talking about gangbanging. Like, you shouting out the set, then you gotta be text. Some shit Nip said. RP to Nip. I agree. The same thing with Eminem. Don't shout out you grew up on Aiden Hoover and you don't do shit for Aiden Hoover and you damn near a billionaire. Remodel the Boys and Girl Club. And you ain't put park or nothing in the neighborhood. Just little simple shit that you can afford to do. But, you know, Sean Anderson knocking shit out. You on his album. Look that shit up. You know what I'm saying? He brought you out to do a parade and different shit like that. So, step your shit up, man. Don't say 8 Mile and Hoover and you ain't doing shit. Don't nobody know you over there. Don't none of the kids. You ain't kissing none of the kids. You ain't hugging the kids. You ain't building no parks.
Kissing babies.
Yeah, he ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Add some lights to them neighborhoods. It's dark as hell over there at night.
Sure.
Then, you know what I'm saying? They had the 7 Mile rapists like, 12 years ago? That probably could have helped some of the women. But yeah, you got anything you want to say or anything else you want to talk about? Alright, so we got an hour worth of this shit. Alright, I'm gonna put her social medias under here and shit. If y'all want to slide. You know what I'm saying? She in a relationship. Yo, all your ex niggas be posting shit. All your old hoes be on your wall. That shit be funny. Niggas like, you just feel like that because you miss me. I was down laughing. I want to laugh at cuz comment. And then it was like the other nigga commented on your wall. And I laughed at it. Yeah.
Don't nobody listen.
My old hoes want to pay back.
What about you?
They don't be saying no wild shit on my page. They just
don't
comment.
Nobody say nothing wild on my page.
Nigga said you
one
miss
comment.
You. And then the other nigga. It's other niggas.
No.
The T nigga. Yeah. From the job with the lining.
That's it, Carl.
Yeah.
What do that gotta do with anything?
That's one of your old hoes.
It's man.
Oh, flame. It's okay. You popping. You popping, sis. You popping, sis. Hey, it's okay. Hey, if y'all want to slide,
don't.
It's gonna be under here. Slide.
Cause I'm taking.
It's cool. He cool. He seem like one of my niggas say he a cool nigga, so I'm gonna take his word for it. He live over there in that neighborhood too.
He is cool.
I'm gonna interview my dog too. You wanna see it? But cool. Yeah, he said cool nigga. My son like him.
Yeah, he do.
But yeah, so
that's what matters.
Yeah. So yeah. What I said matters. So yeah. If y'all wanna slide, that's all.
No.